Today we are going to talk about VST Connect 4. I'm going to show you everything you need to know to be able to record and run a remote recording session in Cubase. Hey, what's going on, my friend? Chris here from MIXDOWN Online. Now, I hope you are safe and well. Now, I received in the past few weeks a bunch of requests on making a VST Connect video. So there it is. I'm going to show you in this video everything you need to know to be able to run a remote recording session in Cubase using VST Connect. Now, VST Connect comes in two versions. There's the SE version, which is the light version, that is included in Cubase Pro. So if you're a Cubase Pro user, you can start by using and trying out VST Connect with the SE version. And there's also the Pro version that I'm using myself that is going to give you access to more features. And I'm going to show all of that in this video. So the first part of the video, because this is going to be a long one, so the first part, I'm going to cover all the parameters of VST Connect within Cubase, and also I'm going to cover the VST Connect Performer, which is the free software that the performer, the person you're going to work with, is going to download and use during the session. And then I'm going to show you a quick test recording that I made using VST Connect Pro with 4 of my friends, all done remotely, of course. And this is also going to be part of this video. So without further ado, let's jump in. All right, so now let's connect our session here in Cubase with VST Connect Pro. So I'm going to click on the VST Cloud on top, select VST Connect Pro, and I'm going to create VST Connect. And this will create and give me access to this VST Connect window. Now I'm going to log in. So if you don't have an account on the Steinberg website, just go create yourself a free account, enter your email and password, click on that small icon here, and you're going to get connected directly online. Now I have here the main window in the middle. This is where you're going to be able to find your collaborator, the person you're going to work with. So find user. So if that person is connected on the VST Connect, you'll be able to search by looking for his username. And then if you click on friends, you will have the list of all the collaborators you worked with. Now, I created myself a test account that I'm going to connect on that is installed on another computer. So this is what we are going to get when connecting with someone, with our collaborator, the person we're going to work with. And then on top, we have Event Monitor. Now, this is synced. I have my connection synced and also the performer's connection also synced. So everything is up and running. Now, by creating an instance of VST Connect in my Cubase session, that created also a track, an audio track called Performer Rec. Okay, I'm going to get to this later. But first, let's look at the integration with the control room in Cubase. Once you create a VST Connect in your Cubase session, Cubase will create a Q channel to manage VST Connect. As you can see at the bottom of my inserts in directly on the control room, I have a VST Connect monitor that has been created when I created myself a VST Connect Pro session. So if I go on and click on audio connections, F4, and click on the control room tab, you will see the second Q mix that is called VST Connect. Now, I don't need to connect that anywhere. I'm going to leave that blank. It has been created automatically. And so I have here on top my first Q mix, and also my second Q mix, which is VST Connect. Okay, so this is something very important. If that doesn't work and you have trouble managing that setup, something you can do is to click on VST Cloud on top, VST Connect Pro or SE, depending on the one you are using, and click on Check and Repair Configuration. Okay, and this is going to set that up for you. Now, let's go back and open up VST Connect. Now, you know what I did here? I just created myself a shortcut directly on my keyboard. keyboard, a computer keyboard, just to access VST Connect every time I need to. Something you can do directly into key commands, under Edit. Okay, so check this out. Then, okay, what we have here on top, we have the TalkBack. We're first going to look at the TalkBack. If you don't have a TalkBack setup, what you need to do is to go back into your VST audio connections, and again, back to control room. Then you're going to have to add channel and look for TalkBack. Now, on my side, I already have my TalkBack set up, and it's set up to my first insert of my audio interface. And there you go. So now I have my TalkBack signal going into the control room. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the main tab, and as you can see, I have my TalkBack going into the VST Connect QMix. I'm going to open VST Connect one more time and look at the TalkBack. And you can see the signal coming into the TalkBack control side of VST Connect. Now the TalkBack is active. If I deactivate the TalkBack off the control room, it will do the same directly into VST Connect. So those two are connected together. Okay, so I'm going to bring that back. And then when I'm going to click on play, okay, that will deactivate also the TalkBack. So by itself, when you're going to click on play, whether you're recording or not, the TalkBack is going to stop working, which makes sense. But, if you want to try a few things with the collaborator that you are working with, you can click on this button here, the rehearse, and that will keep the TalkBack active even if your session is playing. Okay, so this is something you need to keep in mind. Now, the to performer knob right here is linked to the TalkBack level directly on the control room. Okay, so if I bring up and down that level, as you can see, it will decrease or increase the amount of level of your TalkBack. So if the person you are working with needs to hear you more, you can just bring that one up, and that is going to do the trick. And there's also the dim level that is also linked to the one in the control room, the Talk Dim in the control room. And now you have the Q meter right here also. The monitor performer is going to be your signal, your monitoring signal that you get from the performer that you can increase or decrease. So if you need to hear the playback of the performer a bit more, you can increase that knob, and that will do the trick. Now the event monitor, this is going to show you the status of the internet connection. Now the MIDI indicators will show MIDI activity on either side. The net and sync green light will indicate that the data is received, sent on both sides of the connection. So basically, it shows that the connection is in sync. However, it is normal for the sync indicators to light up red during transport operation like start, stop, and locate. So if that happens, it's nothing to worry about. So as far as the mixer goes, we have the master fader and the studio one. Studio is basically what is coming out of the control room, and master is the master of everything altogether. Then we have on the right side of the mixer, we have VST-I, which is going to be the virtual instrument that the performer is going to send you if you're using one, and also the microphone and the instrument microphone input also, or line input if you're recording an electric guitar or a bass, for example. But those are routed directly on an input out of the performer's sound interface. Okay, now they are set up as a stereo, but you can also set up as mono instead of stereo. Now on top we have record. This is the section to set up the levels and the pan also. So the knob that we see is set to adjust the level that will be recorded, and on top, that line in the middle will determine the pan, where you want to pan your signal while you are recording, which is very useful if you're using VST Connect SE, which is the light version, and you want to record an acoustic guitar with a voice. You can actually use the pan to record the voice on the left side, then the guitar on the right side. Make sure they're both using mono inputs, And then afterwards, you'll be able to split that stereo track in Cubase into 2 mono tracks. Okay, so that is the workaround if you wanna record like two mono channels at the same time using VST Connect SE. But if you're using the Pro version of VST Connect, you don't have to worry about that, because right below this section, we have the effects button that I'm going to cover later on, and also that red LED that is going to allow us to record multitracks. Now, by activating those red recording lights, that will tell VST Connect to record those channels separately. So this way you'll be able to record everything in your session on different tracks. This is very, very practical. And this is one of the main features of the Pro version of VST Connect. And effects, when effects is activated on a track, that means that if the performer has some plugins as an insert on his channels, that means that you'll be able to record those effects when you're going to be recording his performance. With that disactivated, you're only going to record a dry version of the signal, but only him will have and monitor those effects for monitoring purposes only. But by activating those, you'll be able to record the effects at the same time. So that can be useful. For example, if you want to record an electric guitar through an amp simulation plugin, you can activate the effects on that channel, and that is going to record that virtual amp effect with the guitar performance. Then if we look here at the bottom right here at the middle of the channel, we have the reverb, and this is going to determine the send level of the reverb for monitoring purposes only. So you have control over the reverb right here at the bottom, which is quite nice, and also that can be customized by the performer himself. But if you're working with someone who is not very familiar with those settings, you can work those from your side and then just add the amount of reverb that person wants, or that can also be done from his side also. And there you go. So you can monitor yourself, and the person can record himself with some reverb that is not going to be recorded. And then we have a plus and minus that is also only available on the Pro version to add other channels. So if I want to record a live drum, for example, that has more than 10 microphones, I can set up 10 different channels, link those to the correct input from the performer's interface, and I'm going to be good to go and record those multi-track drums, which is quite nice. And this is one of the big feature of the VST Connect Pro, is the ability to record up to 16 channels, separately, which is very, very nice. Then at the bottom, we saw the reverb, and there's also a compressor that you can activate if you want to, if the performer wants to record or just play with a compressor on while he is recording, and also an EQ that can be worked on, and inserts also that will be connected to the performer's side. So on the performer's side of things, we are going to see that later on. There's a way we can connect VST Connect Performer to our plugins, our VST plugins and virtual instruments. And this is where those plugins are going to be listed. Then if we look at right in the center of this window, and go down, we have all the parameters of VST Connect. Now we have the show mixer view if you want to have like a full view of your mixer, because if you have like several channels activated within VST Connect Pro, having that open is going to be very useful. And then we have the show video window, because there's a webcam connected to the other computer I'm connected to, and this is going to allow you to see the other person while doing your recording session. So if you click on that, you can have that on a separate window, bring that down, and always have a visual of the person you are working with. Very cool. Then we have the show setup view. Now we have the audio upstream. This is the quality of the audio I am sending to the performer. I'm keeping that low. Okay, I can go up to lossless, but it doesn't matter if I keep that one low. It's going to be easier on the internet connection anyways, and it's going to keep things more stable. Then the video stream, same here. I don't need to have like an HD version of the webcam I'm working with the performer. I keep that very low. Those are small things that are going to add up, which is going to help you to have a smoother experience while collaborating with the performer. Then we have the video device, which is the webcam that is connected to your system. Now, video mirror is if you just want to flip around the look of the video. So you have like the mirror version of that video. And then chat latency, I keep that as in automatic, but you can actually decide the amount of milliseconds that you want to set that up to. Then we have remote delay seconds. So that means that when you start playing your song in Cubase, okay, when you start your playback, VST Connect will delay that playback by the amount of time that you specify right here in this option. Now, during that delay, the playback is started internally and the QMix is transferred to the performer via the control room VST Connect QMix channel. Now, you can set that up to 0.5 to 5 seconds, but it says in the manual that the sweet spot is going to be between 0.75 to around 1.5 seconds. Now, the HD recording bits is also only available on the Pro version of VST Connect, and with that, you'll be able to go from 16-bit to 24-bit, and that will determine the amount of bit the performer is going to record on this side. Because with the Pro version, the performer will have a copy, an original copy of everything that he's going to record directly on his computer. So this way, you'll be able, as a host, to record only a cheap, I would say, low-quality version of the signal again, so it's easier on the connection, and then you'll be able to get those high definition files and transfer and downloading them directly into your session, and this is very well done. And we're going to talk about that later on when we'll get into a session with Simon. It is a very cool feature. And then we have the performer side. If you want to check what is the audio device he is using, it's going to be listed right here, and his buffer size also. And then the audio upstream, so that is the quality of the audio he is sending your way. Same for the video upstream. And then you will see the video device he is using as his webcam. Then we have his MIDI input and output, and the version, of course, of VST Connect. Then we have the manager. We're going to look into this later on when we are going to be into our recording session. And also we are going to have the list of all the recordings right here under the recordings tab. Okay, so this is what you get with the VST Connect Pro in Cubase. Now, if we look at the VST Connect Performer, which is free, and this is something that is very, very cool about this entire system, is that the Performer software is free to use. The only thing that the Performer will need is a free account on the Stangberg website, so he can connect directly online and start recording. So this is a big advantage of using VST Connect. So this way you can collaborate with someone that doesn't work in Cubase. So it's not mandatory to both be on Cubase, which is nice. Okay, now let's look at all the features we have here on the interface itself. It looks a lot like we have on the host side of things, but let's look at a few different things here that we have. Again, we log in. You can find a user or connect with your friends, and then if we click at the bottom, we still have the same type of options like we have on the host side. So now we have the mix console right here. Again, this will allow you as a performer to set your mix levels, okay, so your monitoring levels. And then you can also add some reverb that can be managed here by the performer itself, and also, of course, by the host. And then, so if you want to use a reverb, you make sure you activate your reverb, and you can tweak the parameters of of that reverb and add the amount of signal you are going to send to that reverb by just bringing that small level up and down, okay? And this is quite nice also. So it gives you a lot of control. Then if we look here, we have the compressor also. So if you want to record with a compressor or an EQ, you can do so. And on the host side, the host in Cubase will be able to record the compressor and equalizer or not to record it, which is also a good option. Then we have the inserts. Now, the inserts will give you access to your VST plugins, but to set that up, we need to click right here at the bottom, the Show Setup View, okay? And this is where we're going to have the main configuration like we saw on the VST Connect Pro version. But now we have the Plugin Manager tab. And this is what you have to open if you want to load some plugins, some VST plugins that you have. First, you need to set up the path. So you need to tell the performer where to go and look for your VST plugins. Usually on Windows, you're going to find that folder under Program Files and VST Plugins. And then you can check for Activate VST3 plugins as well. The next time you will load the VST Connect Performer, the Performer will scan that folder for plugins. And then when you'll click on Insert, you are going to see all of your plugins that you will be able to choose from. So let's go and open one of them, a guitar amp simulator, and there you go. So this way, the cool thing is that the guitar player would be able, in this case, to record his guitar directly through Amplitube. And then the host in Cubase is going to be able to record that effect also if he wants to. And also on the top left of the Performer window, we have the VST instrument, okay? And this is where you'll be able to load your VST instruments. This will allow you to use a virtual instrument for the recording. And on the host side, the person is going to be able to record your full signal, the audio signal, and also the MIDI signal. We'll see that later on. So let's go back into configuration and look at what we have. We have the same approach and same kind of settings and parameters we've seen earlier with the VST Connect Pro on Cubase. So we have the audio device that you are using, also your buffer size. And if we look on the right side, we have the HD projects folder. This is the location where you are going to store your recordings locally on your computer. So this way, if the studio, which is the host, is working with VST Connect Pro, he's going to be able to download those files. Doing so, you'll be able to set your audio upstream to a lower quality. And that might be a better option if you don't have a good internet connection. Now, if the studio works with VST Connect SE, that means that the HD projects folder will not be available on the performer's side. So in this case, the audio upstream will determine the audio quality of the recording. Okay, now we are going to connect with Simon Walls, a good friend of mine that is in Montreal. We're 45-50 minutes away from each other. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open VST Cloud and click on VST Connect Pro, create VST Connect, and I'm going to open myself a VST Connect session. Like we saw earlier, I'm going to connect to my account, my Stangberg account, and I'm going to go and look for Simon. And there he is. I'm going to double click, put on my headphones. And I think Simon is with us. There you go. Hey, Simon, how are you?
There we go. Hello, hello.
Hey.
Good.
Awesome. This is cool. Okay, so now Simon is using the Performer version of VST Connect, while I'm using the VST Connect Pro directly in Cubase. Okay, so we're going to set up our session. Now I have directly on the Cubase window, I have the Performer Rec track that was added directly. The minute I I open an instance of VST Connect. So this is the track that I'm going to use to record the audio with Simon. Now, Simon is going to play an acoustic guitar with 2 microphones. Okay, so we're going to use 2 mics, and we're going to record those microphones in mono. Okay, each of them are going to be in mono. Now, the thing is that we need to understand here with VST Connect is when we're going to record the signal is going to be recorded in stereo. So it's only going to be one stereo track. And then you'll see what's going to happen if I want to convert those that recording into mono tracks. So I'm just going to rename that to guitars. There you go. And if we look at the input, we see that the input for that stereo audio channel is VST Connect. Okay, now Simon, we're going to test our microphones.
Okay.
Now you can hear me well?
I hear you super well.
That's awesome. That's cool. I hear you perfectly on my end.
It's just like we're in the studio together. The same thing.
There you go. Okay, I have those 2 channels here that I'm going to use to record the signal that Simon is going to send me. I'm going to rename this one to mic 1 and the second one to mic 2. Okay, now I have access to all the inputs that Simon has on his end. So the first one is going to be audio device 01. And the second channel, I'm going to select audio device 02. Okay, so both are going to be mono. There you go. Okay, so let's try this up. If you just want to play a bit of your guitar, that would be great, so I can check the levels if everything is up to pace.
Set this a little bit. Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, it sounds okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what I have here in my session, just a basic drum loop that I worked on. Simon is going to record some slide guitar on this loop, and we're going to build from that point. Awesome. That's good. So perfect. So thank you, Simon. Now let's convert that recording into mono files because we activated those 2 recording buttons or lights right here on top of those channels. And now we have the sum up of that recording in stereo. And what I'm going to do here on VST Connect, I'm going to click on the settings, the show setup view window. I'm going to go into the recording tab, and this is where I'm going to see my recording that I see here on my track. And there's a small arrow that I'm going to click on, and there you go. Now I have my 2 mono audio that I just recorded. As you can tell, sample rate 48, and both are mono. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on Manager. And on Manager, I'm going to see my audio event that I have right here in my session. I'm going to see that version of the audio event directly into the Manager tab. Now I'm going to click right here at the bottom right and click on Get HD Files. And look what's going to happen. Now, Cubase has created 2 mono channels right here, just under my main stereo guitar channel. And now I'm downloading the high definition audio files from Simon's computer. And this is a feature that is only available again on the Pro version of VST Connect. And I really like this feature just because it's a very good way to smooth up your session while using VST Connect, just by recording some low quality versions of the audio to start with, and then you can download all the high definition, high quality audio in your session. So this way you keep a very smooth session as far as the internet connection goes. All right, so now I have my mono signal right here. So let's have a quick listen. I'm going to mute the main one and just listen to those 2 those two tracks. So there you go. It sounds pretty good. So
There we go.
Not too complicated when you get a hold of everything within VST Connect. So that's why I'm here with you, showing you what you need to know to be able to run a smooth session with VST Connect. So on your side, Simon, how was it?
Pretty smooth. As in volume control and everything. I kind of knew where to put my input of the microphone, so I didn't have any. I didn't have to touch the faders or anything. I feel like the balance that you have on your side with music and everything was really good for me. So I didn't have to touch anything. And when I play that guitar, I usually don't put a reverb on it when I track, so I can hear what I'm really doing. But that can be an option. I mean.
Yeah, because you could. You could have just used a reverb if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a no-brainer on my side. Pretty easy.
That's cool. That's very cool. So, all right. So there you go. So now I have that the guitar tracks that we recorded with Simon, and then I'm going to look for another musician that I can collaborate with to add to this recording, and we'll see where this is going to lead us. Okay, now I am back with Jimmy Lahaie, my good friend Jim. You probably saw him on one of my videos that I did a few months ago. So I'm going to link that on top if you didn't see Jimmy yet. But yeah, so we're going to record some acoustic guitars on this piece of music and also an electric guitar. Now, since my last session with Simon, I actually modified a bit of the drum groove, just to fit better with what Jimmy is gonna play. So this way it changes the groove a bit, but it's kind of cool. So let's jump with Jimmy and start to do some recording. So Jim, you ready?
Yep, I am.
Let's do it, my friend. Guitar number 2. All right, so now what we're gonna do here is to record electric piano with my good friend Matt. Now I'm gonna record the audio side with the regular audio track linked to a VST Connect input, and also I'm going to record the MIDI data. Okay, and to do so, it's very simple. You create yourself a MIDI channel, and as an input, you look for VST Connect insert. Now, Matt has a VST instrument loaded on the performer side of VST Connect. And this way, I'm going to be able to record the audio out of that VST and also the MIDI data. So if I want to change things around later on, I'm going to have the option to. So let's do it, my friend. I'm going to start recording. So there you go. This is all you need to know to be able to run a remote recording session using VST Connect in Cubase. Now, let me give you my impressions on working with VST Connect. At first, it wasn't very easy to get around. There was a kind of a learning curve to it. The manual wasn't that great also. So it took me a bit of time to figure everything out and to be able to control with confidence VST Connect. But I have to say that it's an amazing tool for online collaboration, for remote recording. Now, this will not replace an actual on-site recording session, and I don't think it was designed this way anyway, but it will definitely gonna bring my collaboration projects to the next level. So there you go, my friend. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this video is gonna be helpful for you. Now let me know in the comment section down below if you're planning on using VST Connect or if you already worked with VST Connect. I would love to know about your experience working with it. And also if you have any other questions related to mixing, production, Cubase, and so on, leave everything down below. All right, my friend, stay safe, take care, and I'm gonna see you next time. Bye-bye.